Welcome to Blamestorming. Blamestorming. In a post-truth world, there's plenty of blame to go around. 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 Join Dave Cyrus and Marissa Smith as they blamestorm about today's hot topics.
Hey guys, welcome back to Blamestorming. I'm still Marissa Smith. I've got Dave Cyrus with me.
Hi.
I've got Matt Marin with me.
Hello.
And I have Eli Sears with me.
What's up, dudes?
I just realized every time I hear that intro, it makes me think of Black Mirror. For some reason.
I've only seen 2 episodes. Great show, though.
It can be. Some are great. And I'm not a huge fan, but
The
like
two that Eli saw were
The
great.
2 I saw were pretty good.
the good ones are good. The Star Trek one was good.
Oh, I ain't seen no Star Trek one.
What'd you see?
I seen the one where they got a chip in them, where their eyes get all weird and they can play back their memories.
Oh, okay.
That was pretty sick.
I didn't see
And then I saw the one where the dude fucked a pig.
Oh, yeah, there's the
Spoiler
pilot,
alert.
yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Now we know how it ends.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
But we were actually talking during the break.
I was actually talking about the Roseanne reboot.
Yeah.
John Goodman fucks a pig.
That actually brings up an interesting point someone asked me once. If you had a choice, would you rather eat...
A pig or Roseanne? That is tough.
Would you rather eat...
A pig or Roseanne.
If John Goodman was the size of a chicken, or a chicken the size of John Goodman?
Rather eat?
Yes.
John Goodman, the son.
Oh, I would
chicken.
I would keep little John Goodman around as a buddy.
Right.
Yeah, but as a giant chicken, that'd be, yeah.
But you got to eat it all at once. You can't...
No one can physically do that.
Right, so you'll die.
Oh, well, so die or eat a mini John Goodman?
But then it's the real John Goodman, though. He's going to die.
So you have to kill or be killed.
Yes.
Why is that a hard choice?
I didn't really think this through.
Yeah.
Because I feel like eating a human-sized chicken sounds awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it would be
And-
great. And I think you could without dying. You just have to do it slowly and take some shits along the way.
And a cooked John Goodman sounds adorable.
Wait, would you have to cook him or you have to catch and flay him?
No. You'll catch him already. He's like down. He's like, eat me. He's like, what do you want me to do, boss?
Oh, he wants to be eaten?
Yeah. But that's because he took the Roseanne job.
Yeah.
Ever since the reboot. Anyway,
Is it
Well,
more
it
or
depends
less?
on what condiments are involved.
Is it more or less immoral to eat an animal that doesn't want to be eaten, or a human that does want to be eaten?
No, that's a fucking question.
that is a very good question. I think that we should only eat the voluntary.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
So no incels.
Well, we've done a good job of that because most animals in factory farms want to die.
Yeah.
So really,
You make them want to die first, and then
Yeah.
it's not wrong
I don't
anymore.
even know how
Yeah.
factory farming works. They all want to die.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Eli just brought up incel. We didn't really talk about.
We didn't
the
talk
whole-
about
No,
no
we didn't
incels.
talk
We didn't talk
about
about Toronto yet.
No,
oh
we
God,
haven't.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
You went on a racist anti-Kanye rant.
yeah, I
and-
just went straight
And
to
then
Cosby
it was like
and Kanye.
wrestling for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, we're playing to the audience.
Well, I regret nothing about the wrestling. But
Yeah.
We brought it back into something. But yeah, so a few days ago, of course, a man in Toronto rented a van and then drove it into some pedestrians. Another killer, and this guy harkens back to that guy Elliot Rodger, who was a anti-woman. He had a lot of anti-women. He thought he was another one of these involuntary celibates or incels.
Yeah.
And I got called an incel at a roast battle by Christian Finnegan. Had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
Hadn't even heard the term. And I am a nerd. I know terms.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's these people who
I have
go
the best
online.
terms.
Yes, I have the best terms. I know all the
You know, yeah.
abbreviations.
The Reddit homepage is just your desktop background. Just so you can see it, even when you're not on Reddit.
I never go
and
on
you
Reddit.
still don't know incels.
It's funny. I never go on Reddit, but I
don't
look
either.
like
I don't-
someone who does.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy was basically one of these racist, misogynist. I can't get laid, and it's everyone else's fault.
Yeah.
And it sort of, and there were message posts where people were saying like, "Oh, finally, people will take us seriously."
The revolution has begun.
Now, did he leave a note or something? Like, why?
Oh, he has a whole damn manifesto.
Oh, he does.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
There's a whole bunch of stuff online that he had posted. Look, the guy apparently, it's like Lord of the Flies. You ever see or like read
Boring
Lord
as
of the Flies?
hell.
Where like they all stab the pig because they're so horny.
Roseanne was in that too?
Yes, she was.
Holy shit.
They were stabbing Roseanne.
She played the hog. that
I
they
think
ate.
I probably hate the Roseanne the least out of anyone. Like I don't even, but I'm just for a fat joke.
Yeah.
I love fat jokes so much that I don't even care.
Yeah.
Like,
Thank God for fat people.
Yeah.
Without them, roast battle never would have gotten started. That's why it was so great to see Keith Carey
Keith
and
and
Zach
Zach
Amico.
get to
I was
tell-
like, I've never seen Keith's never gotten to tell fat jokes about someone before. He was all saved up. It was great. But yeah, this guy, these involuntary celibates, which used to just be called losers. And
Yeah.
I have 2 questions. Number 1, do they not know what a prostitute is? Because that's what they're for. Prostitution. That's why we have an episode about prostitution. That's why you can't stop prostitution. Because it's
The
Because-
correct term is actually sex whores.
yeah, sex whores. But yeah, no, these guys, I don't know what in God's name is going on where like don't they realize the reason they think that women aren't having sex with them because there's something wrong with women? Women aren't having sex with you because you're spending your whole day on a Reddit group about how much you hate women.
Yeah.
Like Elliot Rodger was a good-looking kid. He just was a loser who didn't respect women, and he got mad at
Hey, if
them
anything,
about
it shows how unsuperficial women are.
Yeah.
Like, the
sound
fact
like
that
you-
they wouldn't fuck them.
You sound like you want to fuck him.
I mean, did you see him? If I could have saved some lives, it would have been worth it. Let me
Yeah.
tell you, I'd be happy to take one for the team.
Yeah, that's got to be a thing where you can volunteer to fuck an incel so they don't shoot up places.
Well, that was an idea that I had pushed years ago. I actually had a sketch about it. The idea of like imploring women to have sex with losers because
Yeah, what did Lauren think of
to
that one?
avoid school shootings. Didn't make it to his desk, that one. Didn't rise to the level of Lauren's attention.
Yeah.
But
All right, we got a Bear City we got to do instead.
but it's unfair to the whores.
I like Bear
It's
City.
unfair to expect them to take up the slack and have sex with these losers.
No disrespect to Bear City.
Well, then they're also going to get killed because like these guys definitely seem like the type that it's like as soon as they fuck someone, they're going to have to kill them.
There should be a similar thing with men who have sex with feminist bloggers right before they blog, so then they won't be as angry, and they'll be.
Oh,
I think they should just fuck
Yeah.
each other. I think
Yeah.
all the involuntary or voluntary
Oh,
celibate
yeah.
people, they should just fuck
Have-
because they really love men.
well, when
Yeah.
Like they should just fuck each other.
Feminazis should round the incels up on trains and then have them run a train on them.
Yes.
Well, whenever I read a really bad leftist article from
Yeah.
somebody who doesn't seem to know what they're like what you consider like the toxic feminist
Yes.
type,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always think, oh no, she probably did recently have sex with one of those guys.
Oh, okay.
One of the guys on the message board be like, "Oh, women suck." And like, hey, I'm sure you're great at giving head, dude.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, they're just so mad about their hard dicks with nowhere to go,
Yeah.
and they just need to they want to like kill somebody.
Or this goes back to the necrophiliacs. Well, with the dead sex workers, like you can donate your body to one of these guys because they shouldn't be that upset fucking a dead person.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great bit we have. It's not a practical solution, but yeah. But what is
No,
a
I
practical?
think it's a practical
What
solution.
Yeah,
is
what do
a
you mean,
pra-
bit? What do you mean it's a bit?
What is a real practical solution, though,
Is
is that
stabbing
like,
Roseanne.
well, we live in an era now. In all seriousness, and I'm glad you guys are sniping because I have to be like the logical one. Well, we have a world now where you can. There's so many ways a loser can have sex without actually a woman being there. There's
like
fleshlights
sex
and
robots.
sex
Blow-up
robots.
dolls.
There's a German brothel right now
Just sex
of
robots.
just robots. Well, not robots. They're like dolls.
Yeah, that would, like,
If you
hurt your
saw these
dick.
dolls.
No,
they
that's
were-
just what they call Jewish women.
yeah.
There.
These were not, by the way, I saw these dolls. These were not the highest quality. These were not the real dolls.
Yeah.
These were like something that your buddy made in his basement. And so what happened was, yeah, they just have this. In Germany, there's all fake woman brothel, all doll brothel, and they had to get rid of one. They had to replace one because one of the patrons
roughed her up.
Yeah, left her in an unusable state.
Beat the doll.
The doll ended up having a broken spine and a new asshole that the guy cut into the
Okay.
doll, just an inanimate object.
Holy shit.
And like the cops didn't even know what to do. So
well, no, I'm glad that guy had a doll to work
Yeah.
on.
Like they didn't even know what you charge this guy with. So the cops actually ended up giving him a $500 fine because that turns out that's in Germany the actual charge for doing that to a real prostitute.
Wow. Well, you're convicted of general creepiness. Like,
Yeah, no, it's they don't really not much advocacy there. But yeah,
wait, that's how much it is for a real prostitute?
no, that
500?
was the joke, Eli.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Eli was about to go to Germany. Only $500, and I get to do that.
It's
Eli
like
was-
shit. I thought I could only do that in Thailand.
Eli was just barely offended by the fact that that was
Yeah,
the penalty.
I just
It's
kind of was
like,
like,
wait, $500?
that sounds right, but let me double check. I don't.
Yeah, no, but of course it's like, of course that's what he did to the silicone doll because like it's probably he's like, oh, she's not real. I can do everything I've really thought about.
Yeah.
But there was a famous story a few months ago at some sex convention. They rolled out like the newest level of like
Oh, and they
sex doll.
destroyed it.
And
Yeah.
within like an hour, It was broken because they're like,
Wow.
"Hey guys, give it a shot, finger her, touch her," and obviously, like we got to the point that even this pile of silicone and metal
Got
we
me
were just-
too'd.
We were like, yeah, we were feeling bad for. We were just like, "Oh man, men are terrible." Like you can't even not break a woman made of metal and plastic.
And they only speak in ones and zeros. They can't say me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two's not in their vocabulary.
And I guarantee you, some of those guys were calling her a stuck-up bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably couldn't get laid with her even at some point. They somehow got turned down. Like they somehow couldn't do it.
I got friend zoned by the robot.
Yeah.
I gotta get an app for that now. Is there like a patch I can get to make her like me again?
What would there be if you want, as a woman, if you wanted there to be like a robot man? What would its functions like? What would you want in a robot man? Because like the idea, I think for men's like have a sex robot because it's like dudes just want to have sex with a girl that won't talk or do anything. What would like a robot man be? The dream, like a.
So
the
my
dream,
my
yeah.
robot man looks like Keanu Reeves.
Okay.
Nice.
He can fix things, like reach high shelves, like fix a car or like put a cabinet together.
You went from like a real high standard thing right to a base level. Like,
He has to look like
he's
Keanu
absolutely
Reeves.
beautiful, my dream man, and also can fix a doorknob.
Yeah. And then like, see, like I don't really know how like the sex part would work really because like
Would it just be like a dildo as a dick?
I just feel like. Because like you would want them to kind of like be able to like know your spots or whatever, but it's like how high tech is this robot? Like, because I just feel like it's just gonna be like jamming.
He's got a smart
into
dick.
Well, we've all seen
Smart
fucking.
dick.
We've all been to fuckingmachines.com, right?
you. No,
If it'll make you feel more comfortable, sure. Yeah, we've
Okay.
all been there. Sure.
Oh, stop it, you Pollyanna. We know you've been to fucking
You
machines.
Pollyanna? Okay, now you're
that like
now
a-
you're going too far, sir.
Yeah.
A
Is
is
Pollyanna.
that just like a Siberian thing?
No,
Like,
no, it's an American site. It's just,
no. I mean, like, isn't there like a device, a Siberian or whatever?
Oh,
that's
the
just.
Sibian.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Sibian. Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
Trump
yeah.
just invaded that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just bombed.
What? Wait. Well, at some point, explain to me what a Pollyanna is, and after that, is that like when you like have sex with different a ton of wives?
No, I just meant like like you Pollyanna, you're like
It's
a,
like you're
This is a
naive.
fucking-
It's like it's
like a little girl.
Like, yeah,
1950s roast
like an
battle.
ingenue.
Yes.
It's not like-
You're not very swell.
Yes. Like,
What's this robot fuck site?
well, Sibian is like Howard Stern would have that machine that
Yes.
women would mount.
Artie Lang.
No. He's the furthest thing from a machine. He is terribly functional.
Very human.
He is not. He doesn't function at all.
Yeah.
Also, imagine a robot would have the same face from inception to death.
Look, he's had a lot of metal in him.
Whereas Artie-
anyway,
Yeah, but that's true. He does have lead poisoning in his stomach.
what's the
But his new
website?
nose is fucking freaking me out.
Oh, I ain't
don't
seen he
s-
had a new nose.
It's not on purpose. It like blew out because of like the coke, and now it's like
Holy
permanently like
shit.
3 times the size it
Like
used
you,
to be.
the way you blow out a tire, he blew out his nose.
Oh, you haven't seen him?
No.
Oh,
I haven't seen
oh,
that.
God, no. Artie's nose is an atrocity. It
Oh,
looks
no.
so scary. It looks like a guy who has some kind of like
It looks
ridiculous.
like John Goodman sized chicken.
Yeah. No, his nose looks like he just got punched by a schoolyard bully for like the last
Wow.
month or
Yeah.
several months.
Can he
Wow.
still snort cocaine?
That's the important thing.
I would
Yeah.
imagine he installed some kind of like metal tube to help that.
That'd be cool.
Because that guy's got some inflammation problems.
So what's the website though? Coolfuckrobot.com.
Fuckingmachines.com is one of my old roommates was a fan.
Yeah, sure. Your
I'm not.
roommates, yeah.
No, I'm not. I'll tell you which sites I like. No, I'm not. I'm not a huge fucking machines, but they do good work. And it just, but it's machines that are specifically designed to like let the girl do whatever like they want it to do. Like they control speed and depth and size and all this stuff. So you'd probably
Oh, it's like just a site. You order stuff from it.
no. It's a site where women porn stars have sex with these complicated.
Oh, you jack
like-
off to women fucking robots?
Yes,
That's weird.
not robots, machines. Not
Is
robots.
that the PC term?
Potato,
No,
for it?
potato.
No, just literally like a hydraulic.
They prefer to
press
be
for
called
dick on.
machines.
Yeah.
It's just
Little
a hydraulic
machines.
press
Little
for dick on.
machines.
They identify as machines.
Yes.
I don't know. Like I feel
That
like
makes
I
them
need
machines.
More,
Yes.
I need more. I don't know, intimacy or something like that. Like I just don't. Like I just don't see just having like a jackrabbit, like fucking like
Well,
I don't
that's-
see that.
That's the difference between men and women, right
Whereas
there.
men want to buy, where men are like, can I just buy the torso? Can I just buy like from the belly button?
Wait, it has to have a head? Oh, come on.
Wait, throwing money away here.
What, am I married now?
Yeah.
Why does she have fingers? I don't need these. Wait, give me just one. I'll take one finger.
One finger.
Plus, then
Chris.
I also feel like if it was too good, then I feel like I'd have trouble like going back to men. Like, I don't know, because it's like it's weird because I
You
just
run
kind
out
of
of batteries or something.
Wasn't there some story of a guy
can
wanting
always
to like
have-
marry a sex robot?
oh yeah
Of
Yeah.
That's
course.
cool.
yeah.
People are always married.
Oh, what are you,
something.
judging?
People are always trying
Someone,
to
like,
marry
I thought
married-
this was a liberal podcast.
something
and
that
you-
they know that God doesn't like.
Someone married like a anime character, I think. In
That's
Japan.
fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, you mean like a body pillow? Of course.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I mean, there's always it's
That's
usually
amazing.
women. You hear like a woman marrying like her camel or snake,
a
or,
dog or something.
Yeah, that people out there are lonely and they want attention.
Yeah.
Hey, marry whatever, dude.
Yeah, look, I don't care.
As long as it stops you from driving a van into a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if getting fucked by a dog was what that was going to stop that guy from killing people, I don't think that we should be defending the dog's rights.
Yeah.
I mean, the number
yeah.
one movie.
The dog can't consent, Mr. I'm so happy Cosby got like convicted
Well, you
today.
didn't let me get where I was going. The number one movie to the critics this year was Shape of Water, a movie about a woman who rapes an animal.
True that.
That was a fish.
True that.
He was a fish.
True that. She's pescatarian.
He can't consent. He can't talk. He was a prisoner.
But
he probably
dogs-
thought he had to have
A
sex with
dog
lead.
probably would consent, though.
Isn't
a dog
he
probably
really
would.
an
Dogs
amphibian,
fuck
though?
everything.
Yes.
Dogs fuck everything.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
They are consenting.
I don't like the
They're
idea.
asking for it.
I don't like the idea of it, but if the dog is the aggressor, if the dog is the one, doing the fucking,
It depends on what kind of dog, too.
We
Depends
have
on
to
what they're
admit-
wearing too.
we have to admit that we need to find a new kind of argument for why it's wrong, because it's like I am not coming down on the side of being pro dog sex. I'm just
Sounds
saying,
like you are.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if we're being morally perfect, it's,
No one's ever prefaced something and then had said something completely normal.
it's perfectly reasonable to say that if the dog is in charge, it's not as abusive as the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course.
So that's what we talk about on the show today.
yeah,
That is where
if the
show
dog
went.
is like fucking you in the butt,
Yeah.
you got raped by a dog.
Uh huh.
You know?
Well, not raped. I mean, you let it. If you let it, yeah.
I don't know. Did you read the Aziz article? Maybe you just didn't. I don't know what to do.
I felt paralyzed with fear, and I couldn't leave the situation because of that dog.
That's
Dolphins
different. You're a
are
known
actually
whore. You're a known dog slut, Matt. It's different.
dolphins are known to be rapists.
And also, Matt once lied about being raped by a lion, so we can't assume that this dog story is believable. Oh God.
If you could be fucked by any fictional or nonfiction dog in history.
By?
Yeah.
Oh, so I have to be the bottom?
Yes.
Oh. That's a really good question. I'm gonna think about this.
Wilford.
Oh, that was quick. You've thought about this.
Wilford's just a guy in a,
Wilford?
in a suit.
Exactly.
Oh, that's not fair.
I
Clifford's
found the
interesting.
loophole and I did it quickly. Ha.
Okay,
Fair
I'll
enough. Fair enough.
I'll go Lassie.
I'm gonna say Marmaduke.
Oh, but he's not funny at all. You want to date someone funny.
No, I mean he's not funny, but
He's
also
just big.
I can't. Here's the thing. I
Go
can't.
with Clifford then.
I can't be with a woman.
Clifford. I thought Clifford, but I feel like Clifford.
Yeah,
would,
also,
like,
dude,
hurt
you're
me.
gay as hell. Marmaduke?
Yeah.
Pick a woman.
Marmaduke is huge. If I'm gonna have a sex with a dog, I want to have sex with a good one.
Yeah, you probably do got a big old dong.
Yeah,
no,
I was trying. The first, almost all the dogs I thought of were men, and Lassie was the first female one I could think of.
Oh no. Lassie, the character is female. The actors were all male.
What about like
I'm not fucking the actors.
Of course you are.
and Old Yeller if you maybe have a thing for Asians?
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, say something terrible, Matt, please. Say something terrible.
He needs a douche buffer.
Say something worse. Somehow say something worse.
Now, if you said any cartoon animal, then I could go with Heathcliff.
Yeah.
Take her out back and shoot on her if you know what I mean.
Yes.
See how that Old Yeller ended.
Oh, the Yeller.
I'll see myself out.
The worst part of that is it took me a good 5 seconds to get the Asian Old Yeller joke.
I just picture Eli as a child watching Old Yeller holding his dog and gun, just looking at the dog like, "You gonna sit now?"
Yeah, you mean that training video, Old Yeller? Yeah.
That Old Yeller dog.
That's like what was that Kubrick movie? Clockwork Orange for dogs. Force them to watch Old Yeller.
I don't know what the hell we're talking about. Wait, what?
Wait,
okay.
Where forced him
Yeah.
to watch the video or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm a little too cultured for the room.
Well, it started
Yeah.
with Cubert, which was an 80s like Atari game. That's why I was
Such a
confused.
Pollyanna.
Yes.
Quite a Pollyanna.
I just love calling people Pollyanna.
Such a scallywag.
It's such a...
No, old-timey insults are way better.
I'm calling you like a 30s pussy.
yeah, that's even worse. Like, that's better if you can... You're a cad.
Yeah.
A coward and a cad.
Yes. Like
Flapper.
Codfish.
I've called people cowards more than ever since Trump became president. Suddenly it's back in my vocabulary because you see a lot of cowardice. When you see people like openly lying to you, when you know that they know they're lying, that to me is something you should call someone you're a fucking coward. Fuck you.
Like who?
Oh, just like people, mostly comics I knew who like all the people that I already had, misgivings about before the election. The people who they were like, that you kind of would predict. Like I knew one guy, one of the worst comics I've ever seen. And I met him during my first paid show ever, and he had lied about his credits, and we had to like kick him off stage within like 10 minutes of his headlining set because of how bad it was going. And he not only is like when the election started, he was not only like a Trump supporter, but I knew he would be because he was also the guy on Facebook who would talk about, fluoride makes you gay, and like believes every single
chemtrails.
gullible thing. He's a big chemtrail guy. Thought that Hillary's rallies were on green screens and those crowds weren't there. Like think about how crazy you have to be to think that could happen and only you would figure it out. That that rallies weren't really happening that were on the news.
Yeah.
It's a sickness.
Yeah.
I remember this guy. I remember one of his jokes. It was, I was recently on that TV show Oz, it was years ago. On the TV show Oz, I was the guy getting raped. And he turns around and bends over and just screams.
Yo, Matt's right here, man. Why are you talking shit on him?
And I'm like, we paid this guy to be here.
But okay, who hasn't lied about their credits though?
Wait, so now did Oz take
Not your
that
credit score, Matt.
Yeah.
that scene from The Wrestler? That scene with like Sillinger and
God, you're always bringing it back to wrestling.
I know. I finally just made a connection, you guys. But like, remember in Oz when there was that scene where Beecher shits on like Schillinger?
Yeah.
So like, was
sure
that
did.
like basically he took it from Andre the Giant?
Wow, really doing the callbacks here, Melissa.
Well, I just made a connection. I was listening to you guys, but
Well,
it made no
Andre-
sense to
well,
me until just now.
Schillinger was a neo-Nazi, and Andre called Kamala the N-word. So there we do have a connection.
Yeah.
Kamala used to bring a gun into the ring. Now, if you know that, because him and Andre hated each other, Kamala would actually bring a pistol under his trunks
Jesus.
just to make sure.
I thought he was just happy to see him.
Nice. Yes, you're not going to believe this, but yes, wrestlers in the 70s were often racist.
Oh, I thought you meant gay. Go on.
No. I mean,
Oh, the amount of like racial, like it's like pro wrestling is like people look back and see like stuff and say how racist it was at the time. It's like pro wrestling was never leading the cultural like discussion. It was completely reactionary.
yes,
Like if
wrestling was
pro
always-
wrestling was racist, it was only because the audience was. Pro wrestling was never dictating the way people thought.
That is fair. That
So
is-
They went lowest common denominator
they
sometimes.
absolutely
You
did.
know,
I mean, yeah, there was this giant Samoan guy in the 90s who they just thought looked Japanese, so they named him Yokozuna.
Also,
Yeah.
was it Chief J Strongbow, the Indian?
just an
He's an Italian guy.
Well,
That's-
Muhammad Hassan was just an Italian guy. He's
I
not
mean-
even Muslim.
Well, the problem is you're never going to be able to figure out that many gimmicks for Samoans, considering how many of them are actually in wrestling. They're
Yes.
they're just amazing wrestlers.
It
But
was
yeah,
great.
but they always cast people who they're not.
yeah, there was
They were like, we already have the Samoans, so you're gonna have to be
Yeah.
something else.
What
Yeah.
was Tatanka?
Tatanka. He actually is Native American.
Yeah, good for
Okay.
him.
But what was
Stone Cold was a Filipino woman.
Yeah,
People don't know that.
he was a nurse for many years.
Yeah, people don't know that.
But what was Tito Santana, Mexican
If you're gonna-
wrestler in
I
the
was just
80s.
if you're gonna
They
tell me
used to-
Tito Santana is not Latino,
Yeah, I was about to say. Wait, what?
No, I was gonna say when he would hit a flying forearm as his finishing move, the announcer would call it the flying burrito.
Flying burrito. Yeah.
really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh god, actually, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is a person, not a boat. It is
Yeah.
very offensive.
Yes.
To boats and steam.
Yes. The Rock.
Very
is-
problematic.
He was probably Hawaiian.
very
Yeah.
problematic.
He definitely. I think he was Hawaiian.
Ricky, I think you're right. I think
yeah,
he was.
Yeah, he was actually from Hawaii.
And you know his real name was way cooler. It was like
Yeah,
Dick Blood or something like
Richard
that.
Blood.
yeah,
Yeah.
Richard Blood.
Yeah.
It's so amazing that
Yeah.
Someone has a really funny bit about that. I forget who. So there's a comic that
know.
has a really good bit on that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, your name is Dick Blood, and you have to make up a new name for wrestling.
yeah. And Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's a cool name.
It is good.
Yeah.
It's such a kid's name. Like it's because it was like
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah,
wrestling.
Dick Blood isn't good for like maybe in
I mean,
the
back
Attitude
then,
Era, but
everyone was very cartoony. The Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah.
The Honky Tonk Man. When I was a little kid, I remember he was big, and he was one of those guys. Like the Honky Tonk Man story was he was an Elvis character
Yeah.
that they thought would be a beloved face character that just everyone hated. Everyone just flat out hated, and which is good because I've also heard that he was a guy who used to bring switchblades into the ring in case he made him look bad.
Well, he wasn't. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't like a tough dude. Like there's a story about like Dynamite Kid. He like made a joke about Harley Race going into surgery or something in the locker room, and Dynamite Kid like slapped the shit out of him, knocked him off his chair or something
That's
like
nice.
that. Yeah.
Nice to see the British guy.
Dynamite Kid's a piece of shit though, dude.
Yeah.
Look into that guy. Have you looked into that guy?
I don't know much about the
If you do,
DK,
if
yeah.
you do want
That
to find
dude.
the funniest videos you'll see now, though, have you ever seen any videos of Ole Anderson talking wrestling now?
I've seen. Oh yeah, I don't know if I'm the ones you're talking about. I've watched all
So,
these, but
yes.
yeah.
So Ole Anderson's this like wrestler from like 70s, 80s, the most bitter man alive.
Oh yeah.
And there's videos of him like
Is he one of
these,
the
like,
Four Horsemen?
He was one
Yeah.
of the original Four Horsemen.
Yeah.
There's videos of him
brother
now
with Arn
where
Anderson.
he just talks about wrestling, and he is everything he says is like Hulk Hogan never drew money. I don't know why anyone ever booked him. Ric Flair, worst wrestler I was ever in the ring with. He shits on everyone. Then he's like Harley Race, great.
Can I just tell you, speaking of wrestling and trying to make it vaguely political, one of the weirdest moments in my life was in the middle of the night once, and on a news course, like one of those news shows, then the guest was the Ultimate Warrior, like
Yeah.
that latter day Ultimate Warrior, where he was just like skinny with buck teeth and knick-knack from like Rocky Horror hair. He had just
Oh my
like
God.
this white, and he said, the Ultimate Warrior said, what he hates about wrestling is, I was the only guy back in the 80s WWF who wasn't doing drugs.
Oh,
You
brother.
are the most visibly high human being
Oh,
anyone
brother.
had ever seen.
Yeah.
the man who died at 50.
Yeah.
And he went on like a
He was a
speaking-
huge Republican. That's
Yes,
what I'm
he
saying.
went on, like,
he
a
was
speaking tour.
crazy he was so anti-gay.
No.
Like, oh man.
No, not the Ultimate Warrior. No.
He went on these speaking tours, and someone's like, "What's wrong with gay people?" And he's like, "Look, queering don't make the world go round."
Queering. What? You got
Didn't
that?
Roddy Piper start doing stand up?
Yeah. Yeah, before he died.
Roddy
yeah.
Piper also wore half blackface once.
Yes.
Yeah, you know why he wore half blackface at that WrestleMania?
He had a lapse in judgment.
Oh, but I can tell you the real reason. This is
Braveheart?
true. He wore half blackface to wrestle a black wrestler
Well, yeah.
because they wouldn't let him wear blackface.
He's like, what if I do half? Well, yeah, that's reasonable.
That was the compromise. Yes.
Well, also, what he was doing in the build-up, the guy he was wrestling was Bad News Brown, wasn't known for being great on interviews.
yeah.
So Roddy Piper would do interviews where he would turn to the camera so you just saw his black half and imitate Bad News Brown and then turn back the other way and talk back to it. So instead of having to hear Bad News Brown's interviews, you just heard Roddy Piper doing both.
I mean, that is pretty great.
I mean, it's funny.
Roddy Piper was like the best mic guy
I love
ever.
Oh, yeah.
Piper. I
Yeah.
love Piper.
I mean, the guy. I mean, he also didn't. He was the guy who said that you've never seen him not on coke. Like if you've seen him on TV, he was on coke.
Oh yeah, he did a lot of coke.
Yeah, I mean,
I was sad
He
when
was so
passed.
good, he did half blackface, and people still like him.
And yeah, he died, and no one brought it
Hero.
up. In this outrage era, no one brought it up when he died.
Ronda Rousey is now just doing his gimmick as a.
I like it though.
homage.
I like
an
it. I
homage,
like it.
yeah.
It works. I mean, it works. I didn't. realize
She
this
got
was
his blessing before he
Yes,
died.
That's
Yeah.
true.
To do it.
Oh, yeah,
I think he's great. He never had a world title though, right?
Nope.
Never.
Yeah, I mean,
Which
but
is crazy.
He wrestled in the era where no one did
When did he die?
recently.
A couple,
Like
years,
2
couple
years
years ago,
ago,
2 or
yeah.
3
Oh,
years
really?
ago.
I
Yeah.
didn't even know he was dead.
Piper wrestled in the era where literally no one but Hogan. Could
Yeah,
become
Hogan,
champion.
and then
There were no other
then
champions.
Warrior, Yokozuna. Yeah.
And Macho Man. That's it.
But in like
Yeah.
the late
I don't think Macho
80s
Man did. Macho Man have the world
Macho
title?
Man
Yeah,
did
he
have
did.
at
Yeah,
one
he
point.
did.
Okay, there's someone else. Who's the other one? There's someone else, a real big name who never had the world title, and it's crazy.
There's
Bob-
Jake the Snake Roberts.
Jake the Snake. That's right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Bob Backlund was never champion.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
I'm okay.
Oh, okay.
It's the only thing he was known for.
Yeah.
grief.
Yeah, Ted DiBiase. Yeah, there were a bunch of guys back then who they were bigger names than some people who've held world titles now. But they just the way wrestling was promoted then and now is just different.
Yeah, it's. I mean, wrestling was always like I said, lowest common denominator. It was always about kind of whatever they thought the rubes wanted to see.
Yeah,
and it's kind of nice
it's
that
carny.
Like,
it's got carny.
It is a
origins.
carny,
and it's not
yeah.
really. I mean, that's a big part of it. But now it's for people who actually like. I was explaining it on the David Feldman show where he was like, I mean, why would you want to watch this? And I was like, you don't understand. People watching it are actually watching it like, oh, I really like Daniel Bryan. He's like, I like what he does. I hope they let him win.
Yeah.
Like they're saying, like
It is a
appreciate
competition.
his-
They
I
are
appreciate
in
him.
competition with each other. It's
Yeah.
just in a different way than typical sport.
Right,
would
they're
be.
not winning based on like any real,
Yeah.
like, hard.
But it is their
evidence.
job to go out there and get a crowd reaction.
It's like us,
and
it's like
yeah.
roast battle.
Yeah,
You have
pretty
to-
much.
It's about just the vague idea of winning over a crowd.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, definitely.
What is so John Cena? That's
Cena.
Cena. Okay, I don't know wrestling guys, but what's the deal with him and his fiance? They just broke up.
They broke
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's about that?
So apparently they mentioned. I just saw something the other day. I heard they broke up, and it was mentioned that they recorded it for the reality show. So they're like saving the
yeah,
details.
of course.
Until
It'll
the
be
show
on. It'll be
comes
on
out.
Total
Oh,
Divas.
they have
Yeah.
I didn't even.
Total
know that.
Divas is a reality show about the female superstars.
Yeah, and they
Female
have
wrestlers.
both
Don't
the
call them superstars. You don't
Yeah.
work for the company.
They call it. Well, no, that's true. No, the thing is, they always used to call them divas, which is kind of like vaguely insulting. So I'm
Vaguely
happy.
racist.
I'm happy. No, it's actually a big deal that they're now calling them superstars,
Oh,
and
because-
that's why.
right, because everyone's superstars.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
at
they
the very
finally
least,
let
yeah.
them actually be called superstars, which
Well,
is
they went from everyone being a wrestler to now, and there weren't really any women's wrestlers, to then there
Yeah.
being superstars and divas, to now just everyone's a superstar.
Can I say when I went to WrestleMania, what I was really heartened by is to see all these wrestling fans really embracing an Eastern Bloc wrestler. That
Yeah.
like after all those years
Oh,
of,
Rusev.
of everyone hates like the enemy, but they were like
first I thought they said an Eastern black wrestler. I was like,
Eastern
what?
Bloc,
Who?
yeah. like that he's like not Russian, but like
He's a
I mean,
black
like-
Russian.
But I mean, like
Rowdy
look,
Piper, his East side is black.
It was only like 4 years ago when Rusev debuted, and it was a whole waving the Russian flag. I went to a live
and that was,
event.
but of course, that was before conservatives worship Russia.
I
which
guess
they were
but
Russians.
That's true.
I went to a live event when Rusev first debuted at Madison Square Garden, so it was non-televised, and he comes out with his
With
the
Lana.
ravishing Russian Lana, and on the big screen is the big Russian flag with Putin's face on
Yeah,
it
that's
for
what-
everyone to boo.
They would do that. He would say
Yeah.
like, "Our fearless leader, Vladimir Putin."
And
Yeah.
but literally, if you did that today, half the audience would cheer because now they think Putin's on their side against the evil liberals like me.
But
It
what
depends
was-
on which city you're in.
Well, what's funny
I
is
said half. Some cities will be all.
I mean, yeah, it was kind of the cheap heat of like Lana going, all of you dumb Americans are just gonna chant.
Yeah, but that never gets
USA,
old. Yeah, yeah.
USA. And there was like this 10-year-old kid sitting next to me who was chanting USA, and she says that's all you dumb Americans can do is chant USA. And the kid just stops. He goes, "Okay, you suck," and starts chanting, "You suck."
Oh, that's great.
Nice.
See,
nice.
that's adorable. But no, I actually appreciate the idea that the audience has advanced enough that now they're like, oh, good, he's American hating. I love this guy. He's
Yeah.
he's doing a good job of making me hate him. So he's
Yeah.
a great.
Well,
guy.
yeah, they just appreciate someone who's good at their job now. So whether they're a heel or a face, they will cheer someone who is doing well.
Right.
And to an extent, it gets annoying because, like, I like to cheer for the heels if I like them when I'm at home. But if you're live, they want you to boo.
It's confusing.
Like, they're doing their job better to the higher ups if they're going out there and getting heat and getting booed. So it's kind of like annoying when people boo Cena and boo Reigns and then cheer the bad guy.
Because it makes for a worse
It's like,
show.
yeah, just stop acting like you're smarter than everyone else. Just have
Yeah.
fun, embrace it.
Exactly.
It's good guys versus bad guys. Pretend that this is the bad guy.
Don't
This
break
is the good
the
guy.
fourth wall.
Yeah, exactly.
What I love about wrestling, especially 80s wrestling, is just the idea of like all these wrestlers, all these people were people who were like great athletes. They were like Olympic athletes or they were great wrestlers and they worked really hard to get out of their oppressive regimes. They escaped Russia or they escaped Iran. They came to America to live the American dream. And they're like, oh, thank God you're here. Okay, here's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
You're going to put on the flag of the regime you just left that's trying to have you killed for betraying them, and you're going to go out in front of people who actually believe that you believe this
Yeah.
and tell them how much you hate this country.
Yeah.
hysterical.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Nikolai Volkov was, like, Polish.
Yeah.
Who, like...
No, he was Russian. Ivan Koloff was Polish.
Thank you. Yeah. But, like, with the whole Russian gimmick,
Yeah.
and it was, like, the guy who was, like, probably hated Russia
Iron
more than
Sheik.
any man in that building.
Yeah, the Iron Sheik was a bodyguard to the Shah and then escaped the regime.
Yeah, of course, because he, you can't. It was probably a lot
But is
harder
that
to do
real,
cocaine.
or is
when
that
you're...
just his origin story?
Oh,
No,
that's
that
real.
was real.
Oh no, he was an actual bodyguard of
That,
the Shah. He
I'll
was
tell
a
you,
real
that's
Olympian.
one of the hard things about like.
Greco-Roman wrestling champion.
I love talking with non-wrestling fans about wrestling, but sometimes it's really hard to convince them that, like, I think Mike Lawrence had a joke where he said, like, you can't explain the Montreal Screwjob to anyone without, like, a non-wrestling fan without them thinking you're a dumbass.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, sure, that happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's at a point where we do know, like, the reality versus the fakeness, but sometimes with a non-wrestling fan, you try to say the real part, and they just look at you like, it's fucking fake, right?
Yeah,
like,
they think that we're actually saying, like, man, he hit him so hard that he pinned him.
yeah.
And I'm not really a wrestling fan. I don't watch wrestling. I just love the documentaries. I love the same thing with magic. I don't want to go to a magic show, but I love like learning the life story.
Yeah.
Did you hear about Copperfield having to give up his secrets to that?
I did see that. Yeah.
That's been like kind of crazy.
Did
Copperfield's
Charles Dickens finally sued?
Well,
Yeah.
Copperfield's greatest trick was making those rape allegations disappear. I'm sorry.
The
But
tiger
yes.
ate them. Go on. Like,
No, yeah, Copperfield, someone like got injured during a trick where he makes audience members disappear. So in court, he had to reveal exactly how he does the trick.
And it was, you know what? We all knew how he did the trick.
Yeah.
It was
What
a
if-
trick.
What if it was just I'm magic, guys? Here's the proof, and then just like did all this magic shit. A leprechaun appears on his shoulder. I'm magic. That's the truth.
First, I have
just
to
makes the
a
jury
unicorn
disappear.
disappears,
Yeah.
and then everyone in the jury gets on
Yeah,
a unicorn, and
exactly.
then they just like fly.
Just
into
fly
the sky.
away.
In the middle of the court, he's like, "All right, Your Honor, I'm going to need first a gerbil's blood, an ancient bone, and this book that you're not allowed to touch with your bare skin."
He
And
probably
liberal
could-
tears.
yeah. He probably could do a magic trick and like convince. There's been like magicians and like tricksters who've gone into like science labs and stuff because of the people like Uri Geller and these people who've gone into like
Uri
labs.
Geller is one of those. He's a person who uses magic to pretend to be like a guy with literal
Yes,
powers.
and there's been people who've gone into like actual labs and had a scientist say, no, this person has powers when they did a trick, and then like James Randi and these other magicians will go in and prove that they can outsmart our smartest scientists.
Right. There's a guru, a famous guru in India who has convinced various scientists that he hasn't eaten in 30 years.
Yeah.
And it's a fucking trick.
Just
guys.
if you want
That's
to
a
go
little bit culturally insensitive to use to not believe him.
Excuse me, Indian. He is an Indian from India. The Indian.
Yeah. If you want to go down a good YouTube wormhole, watch a bunch of
Here we
James
go.
Randi videos. He's this like magician illusionist. He has the like
Yeah, I think
$1 million challenge. Anybody who can prove actual like psychic abilities, he'll give $1 million to.
Right.
And he's like, every time there's someone who proved to a scientist they have real powers, he's like, here's the trick they did, and he'll do the exact
Well,
same
because
thing.
scientists, they're not. This isn't their forte. A
Yeah.
magician knows how to see through all that. Like Gabe Abelson is a comedian I know who is a mentalist, and he does things on stage. And he's on stage. He's saying, "I don't have powers.
Yeah.
I am using years and years of training to figure out how to know what you're thinking and use special ways of getting you to say what I want you to say."
Oh,
And-
why?
Oh, it's great.
Just act like you're magic.
No, because those magic people, a lot of those magic people, they don't just do tricks on stage. They start stealing from people. They start telling people for 20 grand,
they
I'll
earned
take
it.
care of this curse. Like, and those
Penn
people
and
need to
Teller
be-
do that where they'll like
Yeah.
break the fourth wall in their own act sometimes.
But yeah, no, the people who use magic to con people should be destroyed.
Yes.
Because I used to work at a psychic hotline, so I have a lot of hatred for con artists.
Yes. Well, speaking of which, I did one of the I spent 3 months wrestling on a traveling carnival, and we used to have people bet on who they thought was going to win.
Oh my god!
And halfway through the match, the referee would tell us in carny.
Yeah, well, I mean, wrestling.
In carny talk, because there's like a secret carnival
Dude.
language that old school carnies talk to each other.
Well-
We'd do 3 matches, so like 1 in the morning, 1 afternoon, 1 in the evening, and we'd like build up. So like by the third one, we could have the good guy win at the end.
Yeah.
But in the first 2, we'd like screw over. So we'd send people home happy, but we'd still make a profit by the end of the day.
Nobody
good.
deserves to be robbed more than someone betting on a wrestling match.
at a carnival in upstate New York.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, wrestling started as a con job, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, it has those carny roots from.
Well, it started as wrestling.
Oh, it did, but then
for a little
yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Then they
Yeah.
were like, we can make a lot more money and less people
Exactly.
get hurt.
Well, they started touring, and they started to realize that like the normal style was not exciting to the people way far in the back. So they had to
Right,
flash it up a
right.
little bit,
Yeah.
which meant a little bit exaggeration, and I think it just kind of snowballed from there.
There was one match that sold out like a baseball stadium back in like the 1910s.
Oh yeah, like 1908. It was like
Yeah.
a guy from Russia, the Lion or something
George
like.
Hackenschmidt.
Yeah,
versus-
Hackenschmidt and
versus
someone
Frank
else. There's like a
Gotch.
farm boy versus like a Russian. I
Yep,
think that was like a
Frank
huge
Gotch
thing,
versus
and it was like
George
an
Hackenschmidt.
hours long match or
Yes.
something like
But
that.
what they
yeah.
ended up doing was they realized that if they predetermined the first one to end with a controversial ending where one guy wins and then go back a second time and have the other guy win, then they could do a rubber match, and the third match would be real, but they could sell 3 times as many tickets.
It just
instead
makes
of
me
just
really.
doing one.
It just makes me really happy to picture like a Luthez type, like an actual wrestler,
Yeah.
and he does a match, and the crowd doesn't really care, and then some like acrobat comes out there and just does a few backflips and does
Yeah.
something that everyone in the back knows is fake, but the whole audience thinks is real. And you
Yeah.
just must want to just kill themselves.
Well, because there also used to be stories when wrestling first kind of started becoming predetermined of people double crossing you. Like the old school wrestling champions had to know how to really fight in case someone tried to double cross you.
Right.
And there was a story of Chris Candido, wrestler in the 90s, when he was on the independent circuit. They had the NWA championship. He won it. It was like had his lineage back to Luthez, and he saw Luthez on an airplane and said, "Hey, I'm the NWA champion now." And Luthez like pats him on the back, goes, "Watch out for double crosses." But
Aw.
in the 90s,
Oh, that's
no
so
one's
cute.
double crossing anymore.
Because you're gonna get fired. Yeah.
Aw.
But Luthez
That's-
doesn't know that the world's changed since 1960.
Well, the man's
Luthez.
got the scar tissue on his brain must be pretty impenetrable.
When he died, it was the most the final Thez press. His finishers with the Thez press. I don't know why anyone would know that except me and Matt.
Yeah.
But
It was
did
fun
you know
for
that was
us.
his finisher? Or-
No, no,
Okay.
I did not.
It was
No.
fun for us.
Like I said, I don't actually watch the stuff. I just love learning about it's that and magic. The idea of people who sacrifice so much for like a dumb show they're gonna do.
That's awesome.
For like a few people. Like I really respect that.
I
Like,
do
the
too.
idea of, like,
As someone who's done the same amount of bad bar shows as I have,
Yes.
I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like-
Doing the bar shows. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yep.
Drive out in the fucking sticks for like a burger and
Yeah,
the
no,
show. Like
we're destroying our bodies with what we eat.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
Comics, whereas
Yeah.
like
the free
wrestlers are
food
doing
you
it-
get at a club. Yeah, is like
Yeah. No, you got to learn to like stop.
and just watch someone
accept-
with sock puppets do much better than any of us will ever do.
watch a,
Yeah, exactly.
a hypnotist just crush.
Yeah.
and then-
Watch a guy put on Asian eyeglasses and destroy.
Yeah.
I've done that. I have been on shows.
What?
I thought you said you put on
Asian
Asian-
glasses?
yeah.
That's what it sounded like.
I hosted a show in Jersey where a guy put on Asian glasses, and I literally because
What
of that,
exactly is an Asian glass?
like
It's one that makes you see less.
no, those eyeglasses that have painted on Asian eyes on the glasses.
What, their fingers don't
Oh,
work?
yeah.
Do it old school like the rest of us always
yeah,
did.
like Jerry Lewis.
Yeah.
Oh no, I wasn't even envisioning that. But go on.
Yeah, no, and I literally the next show we had there because he did this, I did a bit where a bit that bombed, by the way, it wasn't even worth it. Where I just listed the following things mean you are not a comedian, and one of them was if you own a pair of Asian eyeglasses.
Wait, you said that before he went up?
I think he didn't do it that week.
But was he there when you said that?
This was when I was like 19, 20.
It's hilarious.
So I definitely did it when the guy was there.
Oh, yeah,
At
yeah,
the time, I
that's- yeah.
wanted to just be Bill Hicks.
Oh, of
and just
course.
Make everyone
Yeah, yeah.
pay for being hacks.
We all had that face. Yeah, we
Yeah.
all had that face.
Yeah, no, and the only joke worked at the end was where I said, if your name is Joe Conti, because he was hosting that night, they're like, oh, fine. Oh, good. A joke came of this horrible bit that I did of all these people who are apparently not as passionate about the rules of comedy as me at this VFW in Jersey.
I thought
the
racist-
purity of the craft.
Racism towards Asians kind of lazy. Like with blackface, you went full face. With Asian, you just take the eyes. You don't even take a
Yeah,
face.
it's way too easy. It's true. Oh, God. I was just thinking about, like, I remember doing a show in Jersey, and it was, God, what was it? It wasn't black. Oh, yeah. It was one of those, like where the guy had the whole, like, hat, like the Asian hat, like when you think of,
The
like,
pointy
The
hat.
Raiden.
the,
Yeah.
the Raiden hat.
Yeah.
Real, and, like, you know what's upsetting? It's not the fact that he did it. It's the fact that people were laughing just from him putting the hat on.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
That's when you start
It's
being
not even
like,
racially. Just as a comedian, it's offensive. Like,
Yeah,
that
like,
that worked.
I'm not as hurt that he's doing it. I'm hurt that the audience likes it.
Yeah, there are times where I hear if I'm at a show and the crowd seems really good, I almost don't want to watch the comedians on stage if I don't know them, because if they're doing something hack and the audience is laughing, I'm gonna hate that audience.
Yeah, I mean, I think as a comedian, you should be hating all your audiences equally.
Oh, just in general, yeah.
You know, you should have a general contempt for them. I think it shines through. It
I
helps
think
you
people
write.
who don't hate their audience are not as funny as people.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Like I feel like Kevin Hart loves his audiences. I feel like no offense to Kevin Hart. I mean some, but I feel like he genuinely loves them.
Well, if my audience was giving me millions of dollars, I would also love them. you know?
And then you wouldn't be as funny.
I would never want to hang out with any of them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I met Kevin Hart
Matt,
once.
they would not want to hang out with you either.
Yeah, that's true.
Nor would they have the opportunity to.
Yeah,
That's
that's why we were saying when I was saying earlier about having fake credits. I remember on some of my first bar shows, they asked me for a credit and I didn't have one. They said, "Just what do you want me to say? Just like make something up." And I used to say I was on Spike TV because if anybody sees me, they'll believe it.
Yep.
One. And two, anybody who hears Spike TV and that like piques their interest, they're probably gonna like me. So
It's a good idea. I mean, and like it's one thing where like there's no one in the world who's going to be like, I watch enough Spike TV programming to know that you, sir, are not on that
but
show.
I know, and I've watched enough to come up with a good enough lie.
Like no
I was a key grip on The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, I was on an episode of 1,000 Ways to Die.
I was just going to say, no one's ever said the words, I don't believe that guy was really on 1,000 Ways to Die.
I was on Mansers.
No, you look like a guy who Deadliest Warrior comes out and just like carries a hammer.
You just said Deadliest Warrior, and I like got a half boner. I love that show so
Yeah.
much.
Is it good? I've
that
never
was
seen it.
amazing.
I've never
Deadliest
watched it.
Warriors, where they would have people like use the weapons of like specific armies and then fight and then try to mathematically figure out who would win.
Oh,
Like
nice. dude.
Viking versus samurai.
Oh,
would win.
shit.
Pirate versus knight.
Spartan versus
So race
Viking.
wars.
Yes.
Well, guys, this has been very fun.
This has been
This
fun.
has
Time
gone
flew
fast.
by.
Yeah.
I'm glad everyone could enjoy our all wrestling show of this news and
Your new
politics
wrestling podcast.
category. I think
we
we
talked a little bit about politics on your wrestling
drew the
podcast.
wrestling
Yeah.
back into the politics of it. I think we did a good job of not making this shop talk. So why don't you tell real quick, say your name, your Twitter handle, and where we can see you.
Jesus Christ. Eli Sayers, ELISAIRS at Instagram and at Twitter. And check out my podcast, Toga Party. Toga Party on iTunes.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I'm at Real Matt Marin on Instagram and Twitter, and Comedy Fight Club's show I run every Sunday night at Lucky Jack's at 10:30, and we stream live on Periscope at Comedy Fight NYC, and same handle for Twitter and Instagram. We post like the best jokes of the
Yeah,
week.
you got to go to Comedy Fight Club if you want to see where Matt got the conceit to think he needed the words "real Matt Marin" on his Twitter.
Well,
Assuming people are going to start stealing it.
I should probably plug Roast Masters every
Yes.
Tuesday at the Stand if you're in New York City. Also check out Gas Digital if you want to
Yeah, I think I just found out I'm
stream
doing
it.
the main event June 5th.
Oh, are you? Who
Yeah.
you battling?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
And
That's
Eli is the Roastmasters champion currently.
Currently.
Yeah, see,
currently,
Eli, look up Eli and
Next
me.
title
You can
defense May 22nd.
May 22nd, May 22nd
And you can
against
see
the
Eli-
great,
Eli-
amazing Chris Crespo. I think it's hilarious.
And
Yeah.
you see Eli in my match by looking at that up on YouTube.
Oh yeah. Look up me and
By
Dave
February. Yeah,
battling.
Yeah. Marissa?
You can follow me on Twitter at Marissa Smith. You can follow Blame Storming on Twitter at The Blame Storm. Also, check out my other podcast, Big Talkin' Brewskis. You can follow that on Twitter at Big Talkin' Brew. I'm going to be at Broadway Comedy Club on May the 4th. We've got Mike Cannon as a headliner. Dave Cyrus is going to be on there. And also catch Merriment and Mortification at Our Shrunken Head on Cinco de Mayo. Dave.
Oh, yeah, I'm on that too. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Dave Cyrus, SIRUS. And, you can find me with that. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Later,
Good
dogs.
night.